Hello again, everyone. I'm Mark Walmsley. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. And this is the best bit of the job for me. This is where I get to introduce some of our full members to you. And I'm delighted that Alice and Marek have joined me today for our interview. Double trouble, I think, today. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to create Alice and Marek's fantasy cultural year from the answers to 10 easy questions. And this will be fun because it's the first time that I've done it with two people. So this will be good fun. But before we do that, thank you so much, both of you, for being full members. As you know, our efforts are entirely member funded. We don't have any shareholders, sponsors, advertisers, or grant making bodies telling us what to do. And that's only made possible by generous people like yourselves. So thank you. And thank you for being such active attendees on our networking events, those of which are free. So thank you very much, both of you. So let's find out what your superpowers are, where you're based. And I want to hear about this wonderful hybrid of words to music. So, and the art now as well, which is, you've created a new art form, which is fantastic. So fire away. Tell us a little bit more about the work that you do.
Okay. So Words2Music is essentially a mix, a blend, a fusion of Alice's poetry, spoken word, and singing, along with my ambient keyboard playing. And we also have visual imagery, which we've produced recently for our series of shows at the Brighton Festival. All that together is Words2Music. Would you like to add anything to that?
No, yeah, it's a kind of fusion of everything. So it's music, it's words and visual as well. So everybody gets kind of all their senses kind of hopefully tickled.
Yeah.
That's great. I was chatting to somebody recently, and we were bemoaning the challenge that symphony orchestras have in attracting young audiences. And it occurred to me that 150 years ago, the loudest thing you could possibly hear was an orchestra, unless you were unfortunate enough to be in a battle, because there was no amplification, no special effects. The sound alone was enough to pull, I think, 19,000 people into a tent in San Francisco in
Wow.
1929 to hear Yehudi Menuhin play.
Wow.
And it's no longer enough for many young people. So one of the things I suggested was doing a concert cam where you broadcast to the audience only close-ups of what was going on stage, because otherwise it's difficult to see. So I think what you're doing is fantastic, because you're kind of almost, you've reinvented something like opera. Opera is often cited as being the art form that pulls from most others. Acting, singing, music, words. So I love the fact that you're creating this multi sensory experience, which is great. I imagine our viewers and listeners can go and have a look and a listen at words2music.com, can they?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
several examples of what we do, yes.
Excellent. So we'll make sure that all of those links are in a company wherever this appears. So that's great. Excellent. Thank you both. So now we're going to have some fun. So this is, I've found this is the best way to pull out anecdotes, laughs, conversational detours, and surprises. So I'm going to, ladies first. So Alice,
Yes.
I need to place you somewhere in the world for this fantasy cultural year. So would
Okay.
you please tell me what's your favorite building?
My favorite building. Oh, I quite like the Notre Dame Church in Paris. Obviously before it burnt down. So yeah, I like sort of very classical, artistic, slightly old-fashioned buildings. As I like quite classical, old-fashioned poetry as well. I'm not one of those kind of modern poets that is very sort of well, modern. I prefer all the kind of classics like Wordsworth and that. So I think I like a lot of old Gothic architecture as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
Excellent. I love the Houses of Parliament. That's Pugin,
Oh
isn't it? I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So we've found somewhere for you to start. Now I'd like you, I'll allow both of you to choose from these, so it'll be interesting where we get to. I'd like you to assume you're sitting at a pavement cafe in Paris, within sight of Notre Dame Cathedral. It's June, it's 6 p.m., it's sunny and warm, and there is a book on the table next to you.
Okay.
Now, that book can be your favorite book. It can be a book that has been with you all your life, a book that changed your life or even saved your life. It can be a recent discovery. So, Marek, tell me, what book is on your right there?
Well, what's popped into my head is how to make friends and influence people.
Dale
Because
Carnegie.
that's it's obviously quite a long time ago, but that book, I think, just the power of certain things to get through to people, like using people's name, as simple as that, is such a powerful mechanism for connecting with people, and that's really what we're trying to do with Words to Music. We're trying to connect something that we do with people's experience and make it something that we love doing for people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
So there's a link
Great.
there from that book.
That's nice. Dale Carnegie, I think it was.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not sure if it was him, but I heard a lovely comment recently. To be the most important person in the room, make everyone else feel like they are. It's lovely. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Excellent. Alice, what book for you?
I my very favorite book is Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Nice.
Yeah, I just love that. I love anything Victorian. I just love the whole story, the metaphors. I like the films as well. So yeah, I like that one.
There are some wonderful adaptations on the now, aren't there, of Dickens? Some fantastic ones. I keep binge watching them online. Excellent. Now, you both have a drink to your left. What's that?
I was going to say, can you see?
The sun is over the yard arm,
What
so
drink
you
will it be?
can have whatever you like.
I'll have a glass of Prosecco, please.
Nice, very nice.
Nice and bubbly.
Marek, what's yours?
Well, for me, it's actually a alcohol-free lager because although I'm not a teetotaler at all,
You drive.
however, I do find sometimes, if we're out somewhere, if I have alcohol-free lager for a while, I kind of feel much more energetic than if I'd had a few drinks. So I'm getting into that now in a big way.
Yeah.
Alongside drinking at other times.
Well, I've got into the habit of having something alcohol free as the first drink because it sometimes, especially in the summer, it doesn't touch the sides. So, you can assuage your thirst with a large orange and lemonade and then have
idea.
Yeah. Excellent. Now you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've both come away from a meeting in Notre Dame with with a wealthy Parisian family foundation who love the work that you do, and they would like they're keen to fund research. So they would like to offer you a year contract, both of you, to go to the country of your choice to research and explore the hybrid between words and music in different cultures. Okay, sounds like a nice gig.
Yeah.
It's highly paid. It's all expenses covered, first class all the way, family visits if you want them. And you'll get a TV show out of it and a book deal.
Yes,
now,
please.
Yes. All you need to do is decide which country you're going to go to do this year of study. You can go anywhere in the world. You might need to confer.
Germany?
Of course.
Germany.
Germany. Okay. Excellent. Any specific part of Germany?
For me personally, Munich. I have a lot of family there. I've spent a lot of summers in Munich. So yeah, I just love, again, the architecture in Munich and the culture, and yeah, so definitely Munich.
Excellent. Okay. So you're on the plane. Okay. You turned left when you got on the plane. First class. The steward brings you a Prosecco and an alcohol-free lager. and hands you a note from the Wealthy Parisian Family Foundation. They would like to do a little bit of research about you while you're away. And the first thing they'd like you to do is to limit your musical intake for 12 months to one very specific genre of music, to the exclusion of all else. Who are you going to listen to, or what are you going to listen to? Marek, you're first.
Yeah. Well, it would be jazz. It would be the classic era, Coltrane, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, because what I try and bring to Words to Music is something that literally plays to the words that Alice is speaking at the time in a kind of improvised way. So if she's talking about a river, for example, flowing down in one of her poems, I try and replicate that with rippling notes down the keyboard. So it's a very finely tuned process, and it draws very much on my previous experience playing jazz bands. So I would listen very closely to how musically improvised music interprets the rhythms and interacts with the other players in the band, to learn from that to tune what I do to Alice's words even more.
That's great. Excellent. So you can have jazz. Mm-hmm. Alice?
Well, I'm an ex-dancer. I just love any kind of pop music, and I teach dance. I think if personally something like kind of techno music, something really fast, really funky. We're also experimenting a little bit with techno music in the background of our Words2Music. So we're going to sort of doing I don't know, sort of nightclubs, that kind of thing. Gothic nightclubs, places that are a little bit more funky, festivals, that sort of thing. But I just like really funky stuff. I do a lot of swimming for charity, and I've always got my headphones. I've always got something really hardcore to keep me going. So it keeps the energy up for me. So it's the opposite to you.
Excellent. That's great. So you arrive in Munich, and there's a group of young people who've been detailed to welcome you, and they're holding your names up on a card. They usher you into a limo, and they whisk you into the center of Munich, somewhere really lovely, a loft apartment, beautiful, with wonderful views, right in the center of Munich. And they say, right, make yourselves comfortable, unpack, relax. We're going to come back later, and we're going to take you to a dance performance and then out to dinner. Okay. Now, this is a magical fantasy cultural year, so I have a magic wand I can wave, and I'm waving it now so that you can watch on stage any dance performance you wish, any dancer, living or dead, any style, any group. So what would you like to watch for 2 hours in a dance performance, Alice?
I love things like Moulin Rouge, black hip hop dancers in particular. When I was a kid, I saw Wayne Sleep dancing, and I fell in love with him. And then years later, I had the privilege of dancing with him at the Hackney Empire. So I think I would choose to see Wayne Sleep, and the first thing that I saw him in, which I think it was something like Toad of Toad Hall. So I would watch Wayne Sleep dancing.
Perfect. You can have that original performance, original cast. Yes. Marek?
Diversity. So when I first saw them on TV, I was just blown away. And that's very much one of Alice's dancing styles. So I do really like that sort of movement, the sharp movement, and the interplay and the change from one musical genre to the next, to the next, to the next. Very exciting. So I love that.
We're very fortunate down here in Essex. They do the pantomime every year, which is great. And we went backstage and met them on one occasion, which was great. So
wow, that's nice.
I think one of them lives locally, about a mile away from us.
Oh wow!
So yeah, excellent. Okay, what about dinner? Now they're taking you out to dinner. Munich is not short of wonderful Michelin-starred restaurants of every kind of nationality. So what country's cuisine would you opt for? Alice?
For me in Munich, it would be a Bretzel in the beer cellar.
Okay, nice. Yes,
Watching the band, the Umpar band, I'd be quite happy.
keep it local. Yeah,
Yes.
Marek.
Well, we recently discovered there are many, many new vegan restaurants opened in Munich. And while I'm not a vegan, I would say I'm semi-vegetarian. I'd really like interest to explore that cuisine there and see how they've interpreted German traditional food into a sort of vegan style. So that would interest me.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, we'll go to a vegan beer keller.
Yes.
I don't think it exists.
No, I don't think it exists. A friend of mine is naughty, and he once went to a vegetarian restaurant and asked to see the meat alternatives. Excellent. Now, the next day in Munich is sport day. Let's assume it's Saturday, and you can go to a sporting event. Many people believe that some sport is a performance art. Synchronized swimming, rhythmic gymnastics, it's close, if not there. So what sporting event would you like to go to for a couple of hours?
As a swimmer, I would love to go and see swimming, especially in the big Olympic place in Germany. So swimming is really exciting. I'd go and watch swimming.
Okay.
For me, the ice hockey, that's a very exciting sport. I've not ever seen it live, but what I have seen on TV, it's really quite thrilling. The speed and the danger, I guess, of that sport is quite thrilling.
I can't follow the puck. It's too fast for me. I can't see it. So, okay, so we'll do some swimming and then we'll freeze the water and do some ice hockey on there.
Nice one.
Now, in Munich, there is a new, in my world, there is a new gallery. It's digitally enhanced. They've created Unframed or something like that, where you can put on some virtual reality headsets and step into the work of an artist. Okay. It's 360 degrees. You can walk around. You can see what's behind that thing that he never painted. The characters move around if there are characters. So which artist's work would you like to step into in virtual reality?
For me, I'd like to step into the virtual reality of Monet's Lily Pond in particular.
Nice. I can see you walking over the bridge.
Yes, I'd love to.
You'll be completely immersed. Marek?
For me, it'd be Salvador Dali. The style of that really appeals to me, and that melting clock. It would be a wonderful experience to be inside that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can walk around and look at the things that he couldn't provide us with in 2 dimensions, but AI can now fill the gaps.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Excellent. Now, I'm flying out to meet you. And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we are going to go to, on Monday, a pop or rock concert, on Tuesday, a play, on Wednesday, a musical, on Thursday, an opera, and on Friday, the cinema. But you get to choose what we see. So Monday evening, pop or rock concert. Who would you like to see? You can include anyone, living or dead.
Oh, Madonna. For me.
Okay, nice. Very nice.
I've seen her loads of times, but yeah.
Yeah.
Madonna.
Yeah.
You?
Okay.
For me, Taylor Swift. We've seen her on TV, didn't see it live, but she's an incredible performer. Be really interesting to see that live.
Yeah. Double header then.
Yes.
So we get Madonna and Taylor Swift in one concert. Fantastic. What about a play?
For me, anything Shakespeare, any kind of Shakespeare production, preferably the dramatic ones. Yeah, Henry V or Richard III. Richard III actually is my favorite one. So yeah, a Shakespeare production.
Nice. Marek?
Also Shakespeare, probably Romeo and Juliet. That classic sort of clash replicated in real life in many ways. So that'd be interesting to see.
It's amazing, isn't it? How relevant those themes and stories remain. Incredible.
Yeah.
And I think he's contributed more new words to the English language than anyone else before or since. Yeah. Excellent. And what about a musical, a West End or Broadway musical for Wednesday night?
Definitely Les Miserables for me.
Fantastic. I saw that.
But it's brilliant.
Yeah. I was very fortunate. I studied music at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in the Barbican, and when I was there, Les Mis opened at the RSC in the Barbican before it transferred to the West End, and I saw it then. I made the mistake of having a drink before the first half, which is about an hour and 3/4 long, or it was at the time. Yeah, wonderful. Marek.
Starlight Express. I've not seen it live, but that, you know, the whole idea of all these people speeding past you as you sit there really appeals to me.
Yeah, I saw it in Victoria. It was at the Victoria, in the theatre in Victoria. I think it's coming back or back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lovely. And what about an opera?
I don't know very many operas, but I would say Tosca, because I was in a production of Tosca at Earl's Court. And I kind of got to like it after being in it. So yeah, definitely. I played a gypsy. And I had one incident where I actually fell in the orchestra pit. So,
Oh Lord. Oh no.
quite entertaining.
A drunken gypsy.
Yeah, yes, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was a huge production. There were horses and dogs and sheep and all sorts. It was a massive production. So yeah, I would pick Tosca because I really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. The Papano, if Apple Music, I think it's on, but the Papano recording with, I think it's Angela Giorgio and her husband. That's incredible. It's great. There's a wonderful movie of it on YouTube you can watch. Yeah, it's great. Marek.
Yeah, also Tosca, because Alice was in it, so I'd love to see that and, you know, visualize her in it.
Great. Well, you've chosen a brilliant one. That's fantastic. And a film, something that would surprise me, perhaps. That would be nice. An odd choice of film. Big screen, IMAX, place to ourselves, best seat in the house. What would you like to watch?
I would be torn between three films. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, a film called The Wicked Lady with Margaret Lockwood and James Mason, and this might sound a bit strange, but one of my favorite films is Step Brothers, which is really funny. I don't know if you've seen it. It's basically two men who just haven't grown up. They're in their 40s and they're still acting like they're kids. And I think it's us.
It's like watching a mirror movie. Yeah. Love it. Marek, anything else?
Well, I have to give you three as well, I'm afraid. Aliens, Blade Runner, and Terminator. There's a theme there, isn't there? But
there is a bit of a theme.
Good films.
Yeah. Interstellar is the only movie I will watch for the music. Love Hans Zimmer, and that's a favorite of mine. Excellent. Now we're nearly there. It's Hero Day tomorrow, and I booked a table at a lovely restaurant in Munich, and you can each invite a hero to have lunch together, again, living or dead, and it would be interesting to see if they get on. But who would you like to have lunch with? Someone from history or present day heroes? Marek, who would you invite?
I'll go for Leonardo da Vinci, because his work goes across so many different areas, and he's such a genius in history that I'd have to ask him about everything he's ever done, all the designs, paintings, and everything, because it's wonderful what he's done.
Yeah. How did you invent the helicopter back then?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Alice.
I think my hero is my grandmother, my German grandmother, because she was very brave. She stood up against the Nazis during the war, and she would help her Jewish friends use a secret telephone that she had in her basement, apparently. And she was just like amazing, really, to stand up in those days against that kind of regime. So I wish I would have been that brave. So definitely she's my hero.
Fantastic. Excellent. Right, we're nearly there. I've been and gone. You've had a wonderful year. You've got the content for the book and the film on Words2Music in Germany. And you're on the plane on the way home. The steward comes over with a non-alcoholic lager and a Prosecco again. And has said that the restriction on your musical intake has been lifted. So You can listen to anything again now. It doesn't have to be the techno funky stuff. It doesn't have to be, what was yours, Marek?
Jazz.
Jazz, yeah. So what's the first piece of music outside those genres that you would want to listen to that you hadn't heard for 12 months?
Interesting.
For me, I just like to listen to whatever's in the charts to make sure that I'm up with everything, so that we're up to date with popular culture and obviously teaching dance classes as well, and with our show, just keeping up with whatever's happening in the charts. So it would be something like the top 20.
Okay, interesting.
Spotify, yeah.
Marek, is there anything?
For me, it'd be something experimental. So I was just finding out today about some kind of experimental genres, people playing violin with tape loops and all the kind of different and bizarre sounds they can create with that, mixing, old and new. So again, the mix up of different genres of music and experimenting with that would be of great interest.
Love it. Excellent. Well done. Congratulations. That's your fantasy cultural year. Does that sound like fun?
It does actually, yeah.
And you're going to make it come true now, are you?
Obviously, this is a true thing, yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? People have said, Mark, you need to start a travel agency so that we can do this. Excellent. Thank you both. Wherever this appears, there'll be links to everything that you do. And we're going to do one more last fun thing. We're going to do the this or that game. I'm going to take it in turns to give you 2 options. You have to choose one. Okay. We'll take it in turn. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is often an eye opener as well. Okay. Marek, sparkling or still?
Sparkling.
Alice, Mac or PC?
PC.
I won't keep doing your names. We'll take it. So, Marek, tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Radio or television, Alice?
TV.
Sandals or Crocs?
Crocs.
High heels or trainers?
Trainers.
Peas or Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts.
Call them or text them?
Text them.
Window seat or aisle seat?
Aisle seat.
Window seat.
Milk or dark chocolate, Alice?
Dark chocolate.
Car or motorcycle?
Car.
Boiled or fried egg?
Boiled.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Concert hall or sports stadium?
Concert hall.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Oh.
Test the water or dive in at the deep end?
Dive in at the deep end.
Orange juice, bits or no bits?
Bits.
Library or museum?
Oh. Library.
Beethoven or Mozart?
Mozart.
That's my question.
Oh, sorry. Stop bickering now.
No, Mozart. Yeah. The handkerchief. That's all great,
Handkerchief.
On the piano. Could play to the handkerchief.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
Cooking or being cooked for?
Cooking.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Oh, non-fiction.
Sand or snow?
Snow.
Shopping online or in-store?
Online.
Reggae or salsa?
Reggae.
Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Android or iPhone?
Android.
Start immediately or wait until the last minute?
Wait until the last minute, if I'm honest.
Science or history?
Science.
New York or Los Angeles?
New York.
Early morning or early hours?
Early morning.
And
Really?
red or white wine?
White. Please.
Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Numbers or words?
Words.
I knew where that was going. Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
And finally, You can both think about this and let me know. See the future or change the past?
Ooh,
See the future.
change the past.
There we go. At least one of you's got the lottery numbers for next week. Excellent. That was great fun. Thank you both for being such good sports. As I said, wherever this appears, there'll be links to the work that you do, but don't rush off. But for our guests, do please connect with Marek and Alex and check out the work that they do and have a look at words2music.com. So for the time being, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you.